Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, it's the energy for me. Hello. Hello. Hi. So the name of my paper is We're So Emotional, Exploring Affect and the Erotic in Queer Black Women's Participation in Emo Musicking. Why is it? Okay. This presentation will explore the erotic as empowerment, emo and affect, and emo as a portal for healing and liberation. So who am I and why do I care so much about emo? My name, as was mentioned, is Victoria Smith. I am a drummer and I've been an ACA fan, to quote Catherine Williams from her 2022 article, of emo music since 2012. So here's me in high school with the only other black kid at my school that wore My Chemical Romance t-shirts. That's me with Converse that I made, because I couldn't afford it from Hot Topic. That's me with my dog. That's great. This is the BIPOC Emo Collective based in Brooklyn, which is where I got started with this research back in 2023. And that's me dressed up as Gerard Way for Halloween. So as you can tell, I am about this. This is my life. I'm gonna start with talking about the erotic. Oftentimes when people hear the erotic, they associate it with something sexual. And I'm not saying that that is not a correct term, but I'm gonna focus on erotic as Audre Lorde defines it. So when she speaks of the erotic then, she speaks of it as an assertion of the life force of women, of that creative energy empowered, the knowledge and use of which we are now reclaiming in our language, our history, our dancing, our loving, our work, our lives. There's also an element of emotional agency that comes with the concept of erotic, which is especially explored in emo musicking. The emotional agency in emo music enables queer Black women, who I am centralizing in my research, to reclaim vulnerability and joy. It also serves as a resistance to capitalism. The erotic challenges capitalist norms of unfeeling and exhaustion. So to engage with emo musicking as a queer Black woman is a form of resistance, emotional agency, and the erotic. So the main person that I will be discussing is my friend Eevee. Eevee is an Afro-Latina trans woman from New York City, and she is also a punk. And a lot of her music is inspired by emo bands such as My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, Taking Back Sunday, Fall Out Boy, right? So I thought it would be really interesting to do more showing than telling about how emo is really strong with affect by showing Eevee's music and some of Eevee's performances. So I'm going to start off with her song, I Feel Okay Today. Here are the lyrics right over here.
I went to therapy today, and we had a great talk. The sun shines and it's autumn season. Got my emotional support and on. Last week I wanted to die, to jump in front of a train. I couldn't see a future, but things are looking up today. My cheekbones look full and I love my smile. My freshly shaven face is nice and soft. And I'm usually a downer. I'll let that go someday. But until that
Well, the song was pretty much over, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. So, the reason that I chose that song, I Feel Okay Today, was because I think it's indicative of Eevee's experience, again, as a trans woman. She talks about her freshly shaven face feeling nice and soft in trans euphoria. She talks about her cheekbones looking a certain way. And for her, in an interview that I conducted with her back in October, discussing these things as a form of liberation, it's also a form of catharsis, and it's also a form of community as well, because by her mentioning these things, by her talking about her physical identity and how it impacts her, it's encouraging other people to do the same. That's something that she discussed in her interview. So this concept of camaraderie, community, and being an example for people to continue to live is something that's really important to Eevee, and I think that's also really important to the emo community based off of the interviews that I've been conducting so far, and again, my experience as a 12-year fan of this genre. In Eevee's words, this song is about feeling okay in the midst of the fucked up world we live in. It's so easy to lose hope that things will get better. I want to fight tooth and nail for a better world, but I can't do that if I'm burnt out and don't want to be alive. This song is about taking care of yourself and prioritizing your happiness so you can keep going and keep fighting the good fight. The world will get better one day, but until then, celebrate the little wins when they come. I'm now going to transition into emo and affect. So emo, I'm gonna give you a very quick rundown of what it is. If I can just move this out of the way. It is a vast genre characterized by emotional, often confessional lyrics. Its roots are in the hardcore punk and post-hardcore scene from the mid-1980s in Washington, D.C. It was known as emotional hardcore or emo-core, but it has since been dropped to emo. According to Andy Greenwald from his canonical 2003 book, All About Emo, that's not the title, but that's what it's about, it's all about emo. It signifies a specific relationship between fans and artists in certain aspects of fashion, culture, and behavior. It's been categorized into 5 distinct waves, which we're not going to get into, but I'm about to give you a sonic example of third wave emo, which was the most popular one, the early 2000s emo. Again, bands like My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco. Here's an example of what comes up when I search for emo fashion. I'm sure if any of you were on MySpace, you can confirm that this is in fact emo fashion. Okay, I tried to do a little swoopy swoop with the bangs. As you can tell by the 4C hair, it didn't work, but you know, I tried. So this is emo style. This is Black Veil Brides. This is My Chemical Romance. Any fans in the room? Any fans? I saw a head nod from my friend right there. Okay, there we go. And now here's a sonic example of what emo music sounds like. Again, this is from the critically acclaimed Black Parade album, which came out in 2006. This is a music video excerpt from their song, I Don't Love You. And I want you to focus on how the lead singer, Gerard Way, is affecting. How does his face look? How does the guitar sound? Why are they falling out of frame? What is it signifying? I want you to focus on that as we watch the video and look at the lyrics.
Sometimes I cry so hard from bleeding, so sick inside of all the needless beating. But baby, when we knock you down and out, that's where you ought to stay. Right after all the blood that you sell out, another time.
So in this music video, we see the members of My Chemical Romance playing on a black and white set. It is evocative, it is reflective, and you also see Gerard Way emoting greatly with his face. You see him contorting into like a scream. You see the band members falling out of frame. You see examples of unrequited love, hence the title, I Don't Love You. It's about falling out of love. And these are key thoughts within the genre. Like a lot of songs are about this, about unrequited feelings, about feeling lost, about a lack of connection. And that was something that I greatly resonated with as a teenager. And affect in music is the expression of the emotion and physical state or a state of mind and the way music can evoke these feelings in a listener. And as someone who has depression and grew up chronically and clinically depressed, I thought it would be really interesting to talk about Black mental health statistics in particular, so I can give a little bit of an extra buffer as to why it's so important for Black women to have outlets and how emo winds up being an outlet for us. Between 91 and 2017, suicide attempts by Black youth increased, while suicide attempts among youth across other races and ethnicities decreased. The suicide death rates for Black girls ages 13 to 19 has increased by 182% from 2001 to 2017. I'm gonna say that again, 182%. So affect in emo music provides a safe space for Black girls and women to feel deeply, because this is something that we're historically not allowed to do. Here's a quote talking about her love of My Chemical Romance, Janessa Williams. And she talks about her mental health. She says, I was embarrassed by the intensity with which I felt, the strange worries that set my mind buzzing. Raised within a family that was half stiff upper Jamaican lip and half working class white British, I was somewhat anchorless. I may not have really known it at the time, but this lack of place coupled with a family history of mental illness set me up for many years of imposter syndrome that would deepen into an anxiety trigger. Stigmas in Black culture that necessitate a space for emo musicking. Here are some of the reasons. Many Black people believe that a mental health condition is a sign of personal weakness. There are many, many reasons for that, which I will not get into in this presentation, but according to the research that I found, that is the case, unfortunately, and that is something that I experienced even in my own, home growing up. Here's a Spanish term, la ropa sucia se lava en casa, basically like don't wash your dirty laundry, like don't air out the dirty laundry. Keep the stuff that's going on inside, keep it in the house, keep it inside of yourself. That's really detrimental. Then there's social and cultural taboos and religion as well. Those two things really came up in a lot of the interviews that I conducted, especially my interview with Eevee. We both talked about growing up in hyper-religious households and how her mother still dead names her and wrote her a letter talking about how God would never want her to transition even though it saved her life. So Black trans youth in particular need safe spaces to explore their identity. And this brings me to emo as a portal for healing and liberation. And again, I said I'm gonna do more showing than talking. Here's an example of Eevee Echoes and the Locations. That's her band singing a song that she wrote called I Just Wanna Pee from the Cart Sessions.
Yo! To all you old motherfuckers in Congress, to all you old dumbass, rich, stupid motherfuckers in the White House, if you want to take away my fucking identity, you're gonna have to pry it from my cold, dead ass! Trans power forever! I am not a monster! And I am not a fucking pedophile! I just wanna pay 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4!
I love this song. You guys should go through it. Some of the lyrics that I want to focus on. So I Just Want to Pee is in response to trans people not being able to use the bathroom that aligns with their gender identity. And so she wrote a song about this. And again, one of the things that I love the most about the emo genre and how it inspires queer Black women to be introspective is the overtness of this. Why are you concerned about my hormone levels and my bone density? We respect gender identity here according to NYC law because my voice is a little too low. I didn't get to do my resonance training today, heat from the fire, like all of these things talking about the timbre of her voice and how she has to shave down her face and put on a pound of makeup just to be accepted. And that's really taxing and that's really difficult to do. So that's why, again, it's so important for Black queer women, especially for Black queer trans women, to have safe spaces to explore the depth of their emotional resonance, and emo musicking is a space for that or a vehicle for that. So in conclusion, emo is a portal for healing and liberation, accessing deep feeling. Emo music is a gateway to joy, resistance, and emotional connection, also catharsis. Challenging norms. Emo disrupts capitalist ideas of emotional suppression, and when Black queer women do that, we're really challenging norms. And finally, it's a blueprint for liberation. Music is a tool for dreaming and creative transformative change. Example, concerts for mutual aid. I've been a part of concerts for mutual aid to raise money for top surgeries, to raise money for bottom surgeries, to raise money for people who are experiencing houselessness because they've been kicked out of their homes because they're trans. Like, this is real stuff that happens in this community, and music and these music spaces are a safe place to deal with the utter BS that a lot of Black queer women go through. Thank you. Please scan the QR code if you have any further questions and you want to follow me on all of the socials and if you want to follow my band because we're really good. Thank you.